Hello, everyone. I'm Jose. I'm the head of infrastructure at Keyrock, and basically, I'm gonna explain a little bit how our infrastructure at Keyrock works. But of course, first, I have to explain what we do at Keyrock. Basically, we are a fintech. We work with crypto assets, and all our business model is based in our ability on pricing assets, mostly crypto assets, and crypto markets can be sometimes a little bit volatile. So a price that we receive like 1 second after can be already late. So can be already old. So we have to price the assets and we have to do it fast. So this basically means that well, we have to connect to a lot of exchanges, a lot of markets. We are currently connected to more than 80 exchanges and 700 markets. We receive all the data and we compute prices out of that. We are receiving at the moment 2 gigabytes per minute in order books. This is a kind of average because this is very, very variable. And we are connected to exchanges in 6 different AWS, Amazon Web Services regions. And all the data we collect goes asynchronously to a data lake, so we can later do some analysis there. So basically, as I said, data can come from different sources around the world, and this can pose a problem because, if we have the servers located, let's say in Europe, and we have exchanges in Europe, the prices from the exchanges in Europe, we will receive it very fast. So we won't have too many problems there, but actually the exchanges that are located farther can have to travel around the world, and they will arrive a little bit later. So probably they cannot be very usable at the time due to the network latency. So what we did, we made our infrastructure distributed, so we can just locate our servers near the exchanges, so we can receive the prices fast. So basically, we in some cases we do co-location. We talk to the exchange and we say, hey, we want to be in your own infrastructure, and they just set up something, and we can just deploy our systems in their infrastructure, so we have the lowest latency possible. But still, if we want to optimize our operation, it means that we need to basically make all these servers to communicate between themselves and share information, and this also creates the same problem. We still have latency because our servers necessarily will be located far away. So yeah, that poses a problem in our case. So what we did, we cannot just make everything closer. We cannot say the exchanges, everyone just move to Europe, so we can be all in the same neighborhood and have low latency. We have to solve the problem at some point. So basically, we tackle it with different approaches that have not necessarily to do with infrastructure because, yeah, as we said, we cannot make the links faster. So for our microservices communication between regions, we are using gRPC. Basically, what it gives us is that the link is not going to be faster, but the payloads that we will be sharing will be smaller, which would make necessarily the information to flow faster through the link. And it also gives us like a faster serialization and deserialization. So when we receive or when we are about to send the data, we also take less time, as in, for example, using JSON or something, some text-based protocol. We are also we migrated all our microservices to Rust. Basically, when we started the company, we had a Node.js-based infrastructure, basically because we understood that we were in a phase of product discovery, and we needed to iterate fast. But at some point, we realized that the garbage collector of Node.js and something similar, just as Python, was a blocker for us, because it basically when we started ingesting like a lot of information and processing a lot of information, it will start to become slower, and the waiting times will increase. So even if the link is fast between regions, the bottleneck becomes our own microservice. So with Rust, we don't have like a garbage collector waiting times anymore. We can leverage also multi-threading to separate I/O and computing engines. So we have a thread that is just processing the data that goes in and out, and we have threads that just takes care of heavy computation, and they don't compete with each other. It also, for free, we have also a smaller memory footprint than any garbage collected language, so we can do more with less hardware. But also, still we have problems with that. I mean, what we learned during the time is that we have to, I mean, with our experience is that we shouldn't trust the data that we receive all the time. I mean, sometimes exchanges can have like some tricky behaviors. So basically what we learn to do with the data is that we have to timestamp everything, because that will allow us to measure the performance of our connection. So for example, when we receive something from the exchange, we put a timestamp. When we send something to another microservice, we put a timestamp there, and we can always measure after. I mean, when we analyze the data, we can measure if there was some increased latency somewhere, and maybe tackle that problem. It also allows us to teach our trading bots, for example, which makes decisions with the prices that we send, to discard data that is already old. So somehow, well, I'm gonna explain now a quick example, but basically, by timestamping everything, teaching the bots to not trust all the data, I mean, don't trust specifically all the data, and learn from the data that we collect, is how we improve our operation. So basically, we have this learning loop in which all the data that we collect from the exchanges, of course, with that data, we have trading bots that makes decision in real time. But also that data is sent to our data lake asynchronously, so we can later analyze that. And basically, we use TinyBear to analyze all the data. We have like this BI connector that allows us to connect, for example, Grafana. So data analysts, quants, and traders, they can just connect to the data and basically answer the question of why we lose data in this operation. We lose money in this operation. So we have an example. For example, since we timestamp everything, we realized that in some liquidity events in some exchanges, prices were super old, which made the bots to try to trade with an outdated price, with non-competitive price, and make us lose money. So basically, what we discovered in that case is that exchange, when the volume was super high, when a lot of people was trading there, started to send data slower to us. And we realized that because we were comparing the timestamp that the exchange gave us with the timestamp in which we received the data, and we noted that at some point there was a drift between the difference of those timestamps. And we said, yeah, okay. I mean, this means that the order books are arriving like later than when they are produced. And since we are arrived late, the price is already outdated, and made the bots, for example, to trade with an outdated price. And basically, with that, we just the data people explain this problem to the developers, and the developers made the bots smarter, so they can detect when there is a time drift between order books, and just discard the data, not trust the data, and just discard it, and just consider other price sources to do the trading. And that made the trading more effective, and of course make a better profit. So this is an example, but basically this is our learning loop. I mean, we make the bots to trade, but then we analyze the data. We have people that is just analyzing that data, and they go with their findings to the algo team, to the algorithmic trading team, and they make improvements in the bots. And this continuous feedback loop is what makes us improve all the time continuously, and can make us, for example, make decisions on where to put certain microservices, changing the region to make the bots more effective. For example, get prices faster in markets in which we are being inefficient, for example. So all our data, all our decisions are data backed, and we have this continuous communication between the data team and the people who develops the trading algorithms. So basically, our real-time pricing infrastructure is based on collocation. I mean, we just sit our microservices near our price sources. We have gRPC for smaller payloads and faster serialization and deserialization. We use Rust for having a more throughput. We don't trust the data by default. We try to analyze if the data is trustable before using that. And we have this learning loop between the data team and the algorithmic trading team. And that's it. Thank you.